Hi, it's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. You just mentioned we were talking. I didn't know you had a special coming out.
Yeah,
How about
yeah. I
that?
have I have a special coming out on EPIX on Friday, February 26th. So it's
Amazing.
part of a series that EPIX did called Unprotected Sets, and so which I love that name. Love a good pun.
hmm
It's myself and then a few other comedians each doing 30 minutes, and so my episode of it is on February 26th. I'm so excited.
Oh, how perfect. Congratulations. That's huge. You're like one of the few people even coming out with anything right now. Like, we're so void
Thanks.
of new comedy specials right now, so that's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, it was shot during the pandemic. It was shot during July, and
Oh,
which is never like the circumstances in which it was shot is never how you picture shooting your first comedy special. But my my managers called me and they were like, "Look, I mean, it's kind of a period piece in a way. I mean, when else are you going to be able to shoot a special in a pandemic? It's going to be kind of its own special thing." So it
mhm.
was shot outside and socially distanced and all of that. But yeah, I think it turned out fun. It's just weird because a lot of us who did it hadn't been on stage for like 4 months,
Yeah.
and just just a weird situation. But it was fun, and I'm glad I did it.
And you shot it in LA?
I did, yeah. Kind of up in the mountains by Burbank.
hmm
And so I think it's attached to a golf course and they just spread people way out and it looks really beautiful. It's just such a different vibe than a comedy club, what you're
Yeah,
used
I
to.
can't wait to see it. That's so cool. And you got it
Thanks.
in before things got really bad, and you probably wouldn't have been allowed to do that if it was like a couple months later.
Exactly. Yeah, it was kind of the sweet spot. So, yeah.
Okay, I have to fangirl out for a second on your dad and the trumpet, and I need the
Ah,
story, even though I'm sure you've told it 1,000 times.
oh, thanks. That makes me so happy you like it.
I love it. Just the song choices. And you need to tell me because I know you said like when he did WAP that was like him surprising you, but like please break down how he's getting these ideas for songs and like how you started with this.
Yeah, so my dad is in the Spokane Symphony. He's played trumpet professionally for like over 40 years. And so growing up, I was constantly hearing him play in the house and practicing and stuff. And anytime I would hear a song on the radio that had trumpet in it, I would kind of just in the back of my mind think, oh, it would be cool if my dad could play that. But I
Mhm.
just never thought to ask. I don't know. And then it took a pandemic where I was visiting him in Spokane and he didn't have any work because the
Mhm.
symphony's been shut down. I didn't have any comedy shows. And we were just sitting at his place and I was like, if I play you some songs right now, some of my favorite songs, do you think you could just listen to it and play it? And he's like, yeah. So I played him DMX, I played him Jay-Z, played him Kanye West, and just by ear, he
Mhm.
just grabbed a piece of computer paper and started writing the notes out and
That's
then
so
played it.
wild.
So crazy. I mean, it's like learning a different language to
Mhm.
be able to do that and write it out. And it it was just so fun for me. And obviously, we all can't go to concerts right now, and it was like I was getting to be witnessing a mini concert.
Yeah, that part of it too. Just and he's just in your living room doing DMX, and I'm like, how do you put trumpet in a song where trumpet doesn't belong? And he like nails it.
Exactly. Because, yeah, it wasn't, there's so many songs that have trumpet that I was like, oh, I wonder if he can do it. But there are
Mhm.
others that don't, but that you can just play those notes and it works. And so DMX was one of them. And I can't even put into words. It makes me so happy. There's something so special about it, like hearing it live. And I put it on Instagram and people just lost their shit over it and thought it was so fun. And so then people started sending song requests and then it just kind of snowballed to where the list of songs we have now is
Mhm.
just staggering. There's so many, and we were doing it like when it started was right when WAP was really
Mhm.
getting going, and so a lot of people requested WAP kind of as a joke, and I would read those comments and be like, like whatever, like he's not going to actually do WAP, but he ended up finding a way to learn it And like he wrote his own part for it. Like what he's
Yeah.
playing isn't in it.
But it sounds just like melodically, it matches up.
Yeah, perfect. He has a mute, it's a whole thing. And so the take that you see in the video was the first take because I did not know that he was gonna lip sync at the end and like really sass it out. And I just was like, what is happening? So that's the take that went in there, was like, that was my genuine mind-blowing reaction of like, what is going on?
You should do the way that there were those Kids Bop albums where they would just like cover all the hits a little bit, but put their own twist on that, but like dad trumpet.
Oh my God, yes. That's there's some that are, I think, could become Kids Bop-esque, and I hope they never do because Kids Bop is the absolute worst. But he's so good. It's really fun to hear what he's capable of doing and learning so quickly. And it's so fun to get text messages in the morning from him that he'll be like, Beastie Boys reporting for duty. And he sends me a picture of Beastie Boys written out, like all the notes. And also what's fun for me is that he plays trumpet at a cathedral. And a lot of the time when he's writing out the songs, he uses his music from the church, like just the back of it. So if you were to flip it over, it's something that you would straight up hear like a hymn
with like Cardi B.
And then like on the back is Cardi B. And it's just, yeah, it's been really fun.
Makes it so much better. Like just when you think no other detail can be sparkled onto it to make it more, it's just like, mwah, he doesn't stop.
He doesn't stop. Yeah, it's, I want to put that on my Instagram stories, but I also I didn't know if that would get him in trouble at his job, so I didn't. But
oh yeah, good point.
I do love that. I love that part of it.
That's so fun, and that's so sad that he doesn't get to work through all this. But at the same time, you're giving him an excuse to like pick up the trumpet and, keep being passionate about it and keep like reinventing himself as a trumpet player.
He's gotten so into it. I mean, and I'm sure you feel this way too, as a comic, to have lost all of this work, you lose your feeling of purpose. And sometimes you don't even realize how important that is until it's gone. And so this has really given him a purpose. And we have so much fun interacting with people in the comments because typically a lot of content you put online, you're going to get either trolls or at least some people leaving shitty comments. And really like 99.9% of the comments left on these videos are people that are just like, this made my day, this is so fun, thank you for doing this, here's a song request. And it's just like a nice place to be during
that's a rare corner of the internet. Truly
it is, because it's just fun and silly. And so we've really liked doing that. And we've like Aerosmith shared the last one, and Quest.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah, Aerosmith reposted it on their Instagram. And
shit, Kelsey.
I know. It's been really fucking crazy. And Questlove from The Roots has been commenting on it. And yeah, it's, again, we did it just on a whim as this fun thing to do on like a weekend afternoon, and I put it in my Instagram stories, and it's now turned into this thing that we are like, we schedule it, we have our songs listed out, I edit them.
I know. I saw you were interviewed on the news.
Yeah, we were interviewed on the local news. It just took on a life of its own, but it's so fun. I'm really glad that we have it.
And it's such a feel-good story, and like so few things are. And I bet let me see if I'm right in assuming that you've already watched the Britney documentary.
So if you were to look at my my planner, I have that for tonight. That after we recorded, I was going to watch it tonight because one of my best friends told me yesterday, like, you have to watch the Britney documentary. So it's on my to-do list.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, but and we're the same age. So I know that we like bond. When we first met, there was like some bops from our middle school days playing at this pool party. And we just like looked at each other, not even knowing. And we're like, 07, huh? Because we're both just like reliving that 7th grade dance where you're like grinding on some guy with like a belt with like a, cliche
Oh
belt
my
buckle to it. And
God.
we're like, oh, we're the same age, huh?
Oh, you also felt a boner in like 2002, like on the small of your back at some basement house party. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so funny. I completely forgot that that was when we met, was at that pool
Mhm.
party, and that I had my Vegas playlist playing and you were like,
Yes, that's right. It was your playlist.
yeah, it was my play, and you were like, "What is this?" And it makes me so happy when other people connect to that playlist because it's like a time capsule, you know? And yeah, it's a good time.
And like Britney is such a big part of that era. I mean, that's right about when she was just like on top of the freaking world.
Hmm.
And it was just so, it was like our adulthood. Like we grew up the year that shit like really went bad for her. And so having those things happen parallel was just
Yeah,
like, oh, childhood's over, isn't it?
yeah, it was an abrupt ending. But yeah, my I want to watch it really badly, and my friend was talking about just how crazy it is,
Hmm.
how sexualized she was
Yeah, that
in
too.
like teenage years.
Hmm.
Where now, like, that shit would never happen. But her on magazine covers, like, still a virgin at 16 or whatever. And it's just like, you would not, I don't think you would ever see that now.
No, I would hope not.
Yeah.
And they go into the very briefly, but they talk about Justin Timberlake and how he was such, also at the top of his game at that
Yes.
time, but that like he was never made to be the villain with like their relationship. And then the Janet Jackson thing was also around that same period of time. And it was
That's
like if that
right.
had happened
The
to him right
Voodoo.
now, he would have gotten Me Too'd.
Oh my God. You're so right. It was a different time.
Hmm.
A different time.
But the
Yeah.
best. Still the best. I
So,
think
can't
I
touch
wonder
it.
if you've heard about this too, and it's not like I've read this in a medical journal, but you hear it enough and you're like, oh, it's got to be true. But they say that because you're the most like hormonal in your teen years, that you have the most like spiking emotions, that the music that you listen to during those years becomes the music that's like then your favorite for the rest of your life because your emotions are the most heightened at those ages.
That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. And I heard somebody put that in a different way, but I think it also has to do with your first serious relationship, the first time you're in
Mhm.
love, because those chemicals, the first time you
Oh yeah.
experience that, are like through the roof. And so some of my favorite, I mean, probably my top 5 favorite artists to this day are
Mhm.
the same ones from my, I don't know, second half of high school. And it just hasn't, like, nothing to me
Mhm.
can top those 5 artists.
Yeah.
And it's been five, I don't know, 12 years, 13 years. Yeah.
Wait, so give me the five.
So Justin Timberlake,
Mhm.
Beyonce,
Okay.
Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Okay.
Incubus, and John Mayer.
Amazing.
Yeah. Those are my faves.
And those are all like, I mean, all those people were at the top of their game and all had success, but they're like different because you didn't just sit here and name like five pop artists.
No, I do love pop, but I also really love rock. I love R&B. I love hip hop. But my first boyfriend was the lead singer in a rock band when we were in high school,
Okay, of
and
course.
so so he introduced me to so much good music
Mhm.
that was like less pop and more rock. So I mean, I had fucking JT and Beyonce already under the belt by the time I met him. But things like Red Hot Chili Peppers and Incubus, that was kind of all new to me. And I mean, I knew of them, but like not really, really in depth. And
Mhm.
yeah, I still love them so much.
I haven't listened to those in depth, and now I feel like I'm missing out. But it's not too
Oh, not too late. They're, I feel like the music that they came out with around then, I think is better than some of the newer stuff. But
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like that's most people that feel that way. But if I was on a desert island and could only have one album, it would probably be Stadium Arcadium by Red Hot Chili Peppers because
Oh
it's
my
a
God.
double.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so good.
I'm going to listen to it after we get off of this while you're watching Britney.
Yes. Okay, we'll just do a little swap. I'll watch
Yeah,
the
we'll
thing
do
that
the
you
swap.
want me to. Yeah, sounds good.
Did you ever have like an emo phase? Because I'm embarrassed to say I had like a very deep, deep dive into that world.
I had about a year, and it was, what was that, sophomore year of high school? It was when Ashley Simpson was big.
Oh, is it because she was dating Pete Wentz? So you're like, I'm going to listen to this Fall Out Boy character?
Fucking loved me some Fall Out Boy, loved me some Ashley Simpson. Do you remember her MTV show? I think it was called Pieces of Me.
I do. I know the song was Pieces of Me, and I
Yeah.
know that like poor thing. I mean, things were going so well until that lip syncing debacle. And
Uh,
it's so unfair because everybody was lip syncing, but she's the only one that got canceled for it. And like nobody talked about cancellation yet, but like she got literally canceled for lip
she
syncing.
got canceled. She was canned after that. And
Mm-hmm.
oh, that album, Autobiography,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so
I
good.
know,
I
so
mean, just especially at that age, like where you just, you're all angsty, and
good. Mm-hmm.
it was really, really good. But yeah, she had her hair razored. So it was like,
That's what it was. I remember being so jealous of that hair texture that she had.
mhm. Yeah, it was all razored, and then she dyed it really dark. And so that was happening around the same time that I started dating my boyfriend in high school, who was in the rock band. And so I just was like, thought I was super like hardcore for about a year there, and was wearing more like, I don't know, rock graphic tees and
Mm-hmm.
shit like that. But yeah, what was your emo phase like?
Ooh, mine was brutal, and people have a hard time believing this because I'm like very clean cut now. But I had my ears
Yeah.
gauged out like 5/8 of an inch. I used to be able to stick like high heels through them. That's how big they were. And I had
No
my
way.
hair dyed into that. Like the top of it was fried platinum blonde, and the bottom of it was black. I did that. And then I had like two different nose piercings at one point. I had like a septum nose piercing, and I had my lip pierced in two different places. I was a completely different person.
I want a picture of this because I cannot even visualize that.
It's deep in the Facebook archives. I'm
Uh,
so sad because I actually don't have that many good pictures from that era because all the photos that I had taken then that all ended up like on MySpace were
oh
never
man.
really saved beyond like whatever childhood computer I had back then. So they
Yeah.
disappeared forever.
Oh, that's a shame, man.
It is because I mean I have some, and maybe I'll post one when I promote this episode where
Yeah.
like the hair is a little bit blonde and you can see my septum ring hanging out, and that's probably the most like hardcore photo I have.
I would love that. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I do think I have some pictures from that time. And then it wasn't an emo phase. It was actually Rihanna. I feel like a lot of my hair choices have been heavily based on celebrities. But do you remember when Rihanna, this is 2009, for the Disturbia music video, how her hair was like a faux hawk? Like it was like
Uh-huh.
completely like pixie faux hawk. So I did a pixie faux hawk
Oh my God.
my sophomore year of college, and it was kind of like what you're saying, where you had the dark and the blonde. It
Mhm.
was dark brown and it ombre into blonde in
Oh
the
my
front.
God.
I had like literally like shaved head, like no hair. And it could look cool and kind of high fashion if I styled it right and had makeup on. But the problem was that I got really lazy with it and I never wanted to style it. And so then it would just be this like soft little like puff of, and I just, without makeup, I looked like Peter Pan. I just looked like a small French boy who was going to his classes, and it was not, it wasn't cute. It's crazy how much long hair can add to
Mhm.
femininity or whatever,
No,
stereotype of femininity, I guess.
it does the whole, and like, here's what I always go, why didn't any of my friends stop me? Why didn't anybody be like, hey, this isn't the move? And I just feel grateful all the time that I had parents who didn't allow me to get like a neck tattoo or something because I could
Oh
have
my God.
really gone off the deep end. It was like the same
Yes.
situation as you were saying. I had also dated a boy like in high school and then another one in college that were both in bands. So I was very
Love it.
entrenched in that whole culture of like, oh, I'm
Yes.
so mad at my parents, but I don't really have like a real reason to be, but I'm so mad I'm gonna pierce my nose. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
What kinds of concerts did you go to back then?
Oh, well, speaking of that phase, I saw Paramore a couple times, and that
Ah, the
was
best.
best. God, her voice is so amazing. It
To
really
this
just,
day, when
to this
I hear
day.
Paramore songs and I'm like, everything has to stop and I have to just like headbang to this Paramore song right
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Same. 100%.
now.
Oh, and she was so young when Misery Business came out and that first album. I mean, so young, and her voice was
So
bonkers.
full.
So full, so powerful. Um, so yeah, Paramore, no doubt. Coldplay, Beyonce, Justin Timberlake. Trying to think of what else I was seeing around that time,
Those
but
are already such amazing. So that's such a good list.
yeah, I really I love a good concert.
Mhm.
I'm always willing to spend money to do that. I just feel like it's pretty invaluable, those experiences.
And they're not as expensive when you don't live in LA. Like the concerts that I would grow up going to in Cleveland, I remember thinking it was steep that it was like $40. And here it's like $200 to try to go to the same show.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just bananas in LA. But yeah, those were most of the ones I was going to, I think.
I went to well, I'm going to ask you what your first concert is, but I'm going to interrupt you with my first concert
Okay.
story because I know you'll appreciate it.
Okay.
It was 97 and it was Spice Girls.
I'm so jealous that you saw them live.
But
Oh.
here's the thing. We had bought the tickets in April and the show was going to be in July. And in between buying the ticket and seeing the show, Ginger left.
No. Man, that
Moment
is
of silence for Ginger from the Spice Girls.
Ginger. That is rough. In that 2-month window, that's when that happened.
Yeah, brutal.
Oh, man, it's just not the same. It's just not the same with four of them. It's not.
Mhm. And they stopped, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but they never put out another album after that.
Did they do an? They did a song. I remember they did a song, but I don't know if they did a full album. The four of them. I think it was maybe just a song.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was the
know.
downfall.
It
Had to be
was.
five.
They could not stay afloat. Well, my first concert is not too dissimilar from yours. Mine was in Sync,
Yes.
and it was at Silver Mountain in Kellogg, Idaho. And it was this was this must have been right after. I don't know if you remember their Disney special. Do you remember this? It was like
Hmm,
Disney.
I don't think I saw it.
Oh my God. So it was NSYNC in concert. Um, what is the name of the documentary? Did you see the boy band documentary on YouTube? It's kind of like all about Lou Pearlman and
Yeah,
his
I did.
downfall.
Yeah.
Okay. What was that called? I don't remember what that was called, and it's going to bug me.
I don't know either, but it was recent. Like I feel like I saw it within the last 2 years.
Yes. Really, really good. Highly recommended to any listeners who are into that whole boy band
Mhm.
phase and stuff. But uh, Backstreet Boys were really getting going. I don't know if you remember this in the documentary, and they were actually quite a bit ahead of NSYNC at the time.
Yeah, I
And
forgot that until the documentary. I would have assumed that it was exactly like at the same time.
me too. Yeah. So Backstreet Boys had already gained a certain amount of fame at that point,
Mhm.
and NSYNC was trying to break through, and Disney offered Backstreet Boys that concert, like that slot, and they said no. I don't remember why, but NSYNC was like, "Yeah, we'll do it," and that shit played on a fucking loop on Disney for like ever, and that's like.
Mhm.
That's what I think when I saw them was that they put together a tour right after that, and it was just like lights out. I mean, talk about. I know being in LA and that whole rat race feeling, we're always feeling FOMO and feeling like we have to say yes to everything because you never know. And while that's not healthy, that's such a dangerous example of what happens if you turn something down that somebody else can get it and like
Yeah. But I guess Backstreet Boys didn't need it by that point because they still, to me, are just as big of a name. I feel like those two names are both equally huge. And what's
Yes,
funny about Spice Girls failing when Ginger left is that it seems like 5 was the magical number for like pop sensation groups then.
absolutely. 98 Degrees, I mean, they did their thing, but they were not in that same category of
No,
the
they
Thinking
weren't. And they
Backstreet
didn't have as
Boys.
many songs that like popped.
Right. Yeah, something about 5, man. Something about 5.
And oddly enough, I feel like 98 Degrees, not that they weren't going to be really famous, but I feel like Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson's relationship made them more famous collectively, at least in
Yes,
my perspective.
I think so too. Yeah, 98 Degrees, Bewitched was 4, and they were, great. Dream was 4. As
Destiny's
as
Child was 4 for a
Destiny's
second.
Child. Oh, Destiny's Child exception to the rule then, huh?
Hmm. But I
As
guess
Club
they were better
17.
when they were 3 than when they were 4.
Yeah. 4, they were a revolving door when it was 4 because they
Yeah.
lost 2 people, swapped in 2 people, lost one of those people, and then became 3.
Hmm. And then it just became Beyonce, and
And
everyone's
then it
like,
was just
okay,
Beyonce.
we're just going to stop trying to add people to her thing.
It was what it was. But God, I love Beyonce so much.
I'm
Yeah,
sad
this
that I
is
have
so fun to
not
nerd
seen
out with you about
her.
it.
I still have
Oh,
to
you
see her
haven't seen her
live.
live?
No. Because by the
Wow.
time I like really wanted, I just don't even, I'm sure she came to Cleveland, but I think
Yeah.
I only really got like more interested after moving out here. And by then, same thing of like crazy expensive. Even to get nosebleeds, it's like so hard to get tickets for that here.
Yeah, I saw her at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena and again, paid an absurd amount of money
Hmm.
to see her and the tickets were just, I mean, the seats were fine,
Yeah.
but just to even be there in her presence is the
Well,
best.
you'll appreciate this. The only show I've seen at the Rose Garden was when Eminem and Rihanna were touring together. I saw their show together, and it was so fucking cool.
Oh my God, I have goosebumps.
It was just too. First of all, I think it's so cool that they even agreed to go on tour together. But it was like half and half, so they would each do their
Wow.
songs, and then they came together, and they would add each other to songs that they weren't on, because I think they just had those 2 ballads
Yeah.
together that were like basically
Mm-hmm.
the same song split, but like 2 different songs.
Yes.
But then he, any song that he had that had like the Dido song, like anything that had female vocals on it, she came on and did, and it was like, oh, this is so good.
Oh my God, my brain's exploding. I love both of them so much. I've wanted to see Eminem live for so long. Yeah, I've been to a couple of those concerts where I've been to like Jay-Z and Beyonce together,
Mhm.
Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake together.
Oh,
And
cool.
it just those shows like that feel like such a special experience because you are seeing them perform together at a time
Mhm.
where you wouldn't otherwise. And oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I could have seen that. That sounds awesome.
He was, and this is just, I think, well, my parents are foreigners and they were very like not, I would say they're still not with it with certain things,
Right.
but they definitely were not with it back when like Eminem was coming onto the scene.
Yeah.
Nobody supervised what CDs I was getting my hands on. Like that was the last thing on their minds. So I
Yes.
would get Eminem CDs, and I remember being like 10 years old when one of the first albums came out, and we would do these road trips to visit family in New York, and it's like a 9-hour drive from Cleveland. But all of the Russian families would like load into these minivans and do these 9-hour road trips to New York. And I had like my little Walkman player with my
Yes.
Eminem CD in it.
Yes.
I remember
Oh,
like driving to New York and listening and hearing his song that's like about mushrooms. And thinking, why would a pizza topping do that to a girl? Like, how could it make her sick?
that is incredible. Yeah, I remember I have such a dorky picture of me on my 7th grade slumber party. And I'm sorry, whatever that was, whatever year that was for my birthday. And I got Ludacris Word of Mouth as a
Yes,
gift.
another amazing album.
One of the best. And it's just me holding it up going, and I look so deeply Caucasian. It's just this like white kid in the suburbs, like Luda, and I wore that album out. I love that album.
Still, I don't think there's not a lot of people that get me hyped like Ludacris gets, which is, it feels dorky to say that, but honestly, his songs just all had like this insane fucking energy to them that I don't even know like who is equal to that. There's certain songs that I'm like, I have to sing every word of this while it's on. I don't care who sees me. It has to happen. It's like instinctual.
Yes, I feel like he's kind of underrated, which is weird because he had so much success.
Right.
But I think people think more of like a Kanye or a Jay-Z in terms of the best. And in terms of singles that Ludacris put out that were like nothing he put out ever sucked.
No, it really didn't. And every song sounded so like Blueberry Yum Yum sounds so different than like Southern Hospitality.
Yes.
Sounds so different than like, oh God.
Move Bitch.
There were those couple Move Bitch. Yeah, all of it is just so like every song is so different. And I especially loved the era when he started doing stuff with like Little John.
Lovers and Friends.
Yes. It's so catchy and it's so fun.
One of the best.
And then something with Ludacris that I really liked, and it's not fair to say that like other rappers don't do this because I'm sure like Jay-Z and Kanye and everybody does this to some respect, but Ludacris and Eminem were both rappers that like also told stories and also were funny. Like I don't know a lot of songs that made me laugh the way that like Ludacris and Eminem songs made me laugh.
Yes. I couldn't agree more. Feel the exact same way. Yeah, lyrically it was different.
I also had like a huge crush on Eminem.
I have the biggest crush on Eminem. Oh my God. 8 Mile? Ugh.
When they gave him the dark hair too. I'm like, oh, Daddy, keep the dark hair.
So hot. Oh my God. I remember him fucking Brittany Murphy and just being like, my brain exploding.
I know, we're like in high school and we're like, oh, this, more of this, please.
Yeah, I remember watching it. I think it must have been with a group of friends at some sort of weekend gathering and just being like, thinking in my head, like, I'm feeling tingles downstairs. I don't know what that means. It's like sitting with like a pillow over my lap, like, what's going on?
Yeah. Oh my God, I just heard, okay. So I'll just say, I'm not going to get in trouble for this, but there may or may not be a hack to getting SiriusXM. There may or may not be a Reddit hack. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I may or may not have used that to get SiriusXM on my car recently. And I'll tell you off the air how to do it. But
okay.
There's this station that's just 2000s music on SiriusXM.
Yes. One of my favorites.
Absolutely, like, hands down my favorite SiriusXM channel. And I was driving recently. God, I wish I could remember the song that came on before it, but some fucking banger was on. It was so different. It was so different than the next song that came on, which was Eminem's Superman, which is, why is that the hottest song that's ever been written? Why?
I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. Oh. We're going to do, my dad and I for Trumpet Tuesday are going to do Real Slim Shady. That.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to do that. I'm very excited.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
What were your, did you have like your NSYNC crushes, or was it Backstreet Boys crushes, or like, tell me, who was it? Because I know it was somebody.
Oh, huge crush on Lance. Which was
really?
No.
Oh, you're like an outlier. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everybody loved JT. I love JT, but there's something special to me about Lance. Really loved Lance Bass very much. Still do. Still love all of them. I always feel though that JC was underrated within NSYNC.
It was
vocally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the best one in the band vocally for sure. He always had like the hardest parts of the songs.
Do you remember Sailing on their first album, which is a cover of the other song Sailing?
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
If I heard it, probably, but I don't remember a lot of those songs by name.
Okay. JC in that song is goosebumps, chills. I listened to it recently and just to remember what that sounded like. He's so good.
I was a Nick Carter person, which I feel like is so weird now because I don't know, he fell off at some point and I don't know what he's been through. I'm not trying to judge him, but he didn't age as well as some of the other boy band guys did. So looking back on it, it's a little weird to be like, oh, I was obsessed with Nick Carter, but I fully had like an 18-inch poster of him on my bedroom door.
Like every copy of Teen Beat, all of that. My bedroom walls were covered in that shit.
Kids don't do that now. I don't think they get magazines anymore, so that's probably part of it. But I would treat magazine pages as posters and just cover the walls and like cover my locker in them.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah, I would just take scissors, cut it out of it, and just put it on my wall. No second thought to it. Also, I don't think that kids, and I could be wrong, but I don't think they have book fairs anymore. Maybe they do, but did you ever have book fairs? Yeah, in your elementary school, and you could buy posters there, like with like kittens with a butterfly on it, or I don't know. I used to get that all the time.
I can like smell a Scholastic book fair.
That is so funny because as soon as you said that, I was like, "Yep, goosebumps." Animorphs.
Oh my God, Animorphs.
Magic eye books.
Yeah. R.L. Stine.
R.L. Stine. The covers to those books are burned into my head forever. Yeah. Like, do you remember the one with the dog with the red eyes?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the Animorphs ones too, because I can think of like some of the actors and remembering when it eventually came out as a show. And it would just be like 7 stages of some actor like morphing into a wolf and then the wolf. and now looking back at it, I'm like, that's pretty traumatic.
It is. And we just accepted that wholeheartedly. But yeah, that's the favorite. It's the best line of the whole podcast is I can still smell a Scholastic book fair. Where's that candle, Bath and Body Works, please?
Oh my God. That would sell out so fast.
Yeah, they really should do that.
Well, we also used to have like arts and crafts fairs, and you would just like bring in your shitty glued macaroni and then like sell it as a Christmas ornament to the parents that would come in.
Yeah, we had all that too. Those were the good old days.
Yeah. Did you ever did you get into like burned CDs?
Did I? I was constantly making burned CDs. I actually still have a box of CDs in my car. That's the only place I still have a CD player is in my car. And I kept all of them. Like I kept all of the mixes I made. I kept I still have Ludacris, Word of Mouth. I still have all of that shit.
I'm jealous that you still have those because that's so fun.
There's something different about it. It's like now that's what I call music.
Oh, now what are they on? Like 50 or 60?
3,000, yeah. But like now 7, you can't replicate that magic by just making a Spotify playlist of this. It's different. It's different when it's on a CD and you don't know what's going to come next. It's so fun.
That's so true. I was in Joshua Tree over the summer with my friend who kept all of her burned CDs from that era. And she like just was ignoring them for the longest time. They were just sitting idly in the car until we get out to Joshua Tree and there's no service. So we can't get the phone to connect. And it's like, ooh, bitch, take out the burned CDs. And there were now volume, 10 or 11 or whatever from that era. And yeah, they're so good. And they're songs that you wouldn't think to put on the Spotify playlist. And that's what makes it good. Because you're like, well, I wouldn't pick this song myself, but I'm glad it's here.
But yes, that is the magic of now, like the now DJ. They dig things up that you just wouldn't even think about. But you're like, yeah, exactly what I said. I'm glad you're here. Yeah.
Well, I
So
appreciate
good.
you coming on to talk to me about this, but I don't want to hold you up from the Britney documentary because you need to tell me what you think after you watch it.
Priorities. I will message you afterward, and you should listen to Stadium Arcadium.
I'm going to. I'm adding it to my Spotify right now.
I'm so excited. So the song Charlie on the first disc of Stadium Arcadium is still to this day my all-time favorite song.
I'm so excited to hear it.
It's so good. It's one of those ones that sounds like 3 different songs in one, where like the beginning sounds like one song, middle sounds like a different. It's just so good. I hope you like it. You might not, but I hope
No,
you do.
I think I will. I like Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I've never actually gotten to like hear a whole album through. But one year I worked at Coachella the year that they were headlining it, probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
No way.
Yeah, I was selling merch, like Coachella merch at their main booth because it was like the only way to get paid to go. And like we
Yeah.
got free accommodations and everything. And I was by myself and I got off a shift and like ran to go watch them. And they were phenomenal. And
So good.
Flea, like, how old is this man at this point? Like, for sure in his 50s. And
Yeah.
he's fucking climbing the structure on the side of the stage that like holds the lights up. And this man is climbing it horizontally, like some kind of 20-year-old break dancer. It was just like, my mind was blown.
They're so good. I got to see them live in LA a few years ago, and it's just like, they're
Such a
amazing.
good concert.
So,
Such good performers.
yeah, they have been doing it for so long. They absolutely know what they're doing. So, yeah, I hope you like it.
I will. Well, where can people find you and promote your special one more time?
Thanks. So you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Kelsey Cook Comedy. You can go to my website, kelseycook.com, for tour dates. And my EPIX special comes out on February 26th. So mark your calendars and watch it.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on. And everybody, thank you for listening and stay curious.